Well, today's September 10th, and there's been some changes for this particular episode. I mentioned on the last episode that I'll be releasing two different types. One with a two review episode, which features, of course, ChocoPro 253, and of course, GLEAT G Pro Wrestling version 33. However, I realized that I'm not going to have enough time to do all that to separate them due to the fact that certain things have come up, but I will squeeze in three more reviews. The next one, the ones I'm going to be squeezing in is going to be NWA USA. I kind of forgot about that because, things have been a little changely during the week. And of course, we got JCW, Jersey Championship Wrestling Uncensored. Hope everybody's going to be enjoying that one because we got Jungle Kyona making her debut. I'm excited because she's facing Masha Slamovich, and we're going to have a lot of shit going on in that particular show. And of course, if it's possible, if I do get a chance to see it, because I don't have an NJPW on demand, hopefully they put it on the watchprowrestling.org. I'll see New Japan Strong with Fighting Spirit Unleashed. I'm excited for that particular match because it was told Aussie Open will be putting their Strong Openweight tag team titles on the line against West Coast Wrecking Crew. As you know, in that particular story, the West Coast Wrecking Crew believe that they are the true meaning of what tag team division was. They're like, they earned that. But Aussie Open say, nope, we are the best. That's how it is. And of course, we cannot forget some news updates that we're going to be sharing what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling. So, let's get ready for another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that it's pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, let's begin with ChocoPro 253. I have to say we're getting closer and closer now to Phoenix Rises, and of course, we'll have the return of Balinaki after his 2-month tour in the US. I'm very happy he's going to be back defending that title, but he'll be in a match hopefully soon. But this is now. Now, our opening match is another exhibition match. As you know, they've been introducing their new trainee, Miyu. Last time when we had her exhibition match, she was in the match against Chiko Shikawa. That particular match ended in a 5-minute time limit draw. However, this saga continues with her with Chiko Shikawa. As you know, the same old thing. As Yumai is eager to prove herself that she can hang with experienced wrestlers. Now, as I mentioned this before, Chiko Shikawa is part of the 4th generation of girls that were trained by Emi Sakura, and I believe this is her 3rd year being in it. It's kind of interesting, but however, once again, this particular match ended with a time limit draw on 5 minutes. So we know she'll pull it off, but it'll be a matter of time before she gets better. We know that one day she'll be involved in ChocoPro and possibly got to move. So we'll just keep an eye on how she's doing her progress. But if you have the ChocoPro got to moves YouTube channel, you may see they upload their training videos. So you'll probably be amazed what they do. Now our next match, we have Dragon Ninja, Saruyi and Chonchiru taking on Sayaka Obihiro and Masahiro Takanashi. Now, this is a very interesting match because it's been a while since I've seen Dragon Ninja a lot. We hardly get to see them together because if you guys know this, Chonchiru, he has other gigs as wrestlers going other places. Saruyi has another day job. If you guys ever seen her on her Twitter page, she works as a bartender. But however, seeing them team up was pretty good. Now, I have been following Dragon Ninja, how cohesive they can be. However, I think the way they ended this match was pretty good. It showed Sarui gave a stomp on the abdomen onto Sayaka Sugiura, but it gave perfect timing for Sean to pick up the victory by pinning Sayaka, giving them a very good win. However, I don't know for sure if they had the opportunity. If they would have pinned, in my opinion, Masahiro Masa, they would have got an opportunity for the Asian Dream Tag Team titles. I know that's something they are looking forward to, but hopefully one day they can challenge for those titles. Now our next match, which is our final match, we have a tag team action. We got Sayaka teaming up with Yuna Mizumuru to take on Hagane Shino and Mei Suruga. Now this is the first time I've ever seen Mei and Hagane team up. Now I know they have been in the past opposite sides of each other due to the fact that Mei is with the Best Bros, Hagane is with the Egg Tarts, but having them in the same team. However, the one thing that is more of the X factor is this: you got Mei and Hagane. They both have the speed and the striking capability. Well, the speed from Mei Suruga and the striking capability from Hagane. As for Yuna and Sayaka, well, Yuna is the powerhouse of the duo, while Sayaka, she's still getting a bit more experience. But however, much of this match was focused on Yuna and Mei, because they're kind of like a bit of a rivalry between those two. As you know, Mei Suruga is one of the students of Emi Sakura. Yuna, you know, she's been around the block, but I have to say it was a pretty good one. However, the moments leading up to the end, Hagane had to deal with Sayaka outside of the through the window while Mei and Yuna do their business in the front. However, it was Mei Suruga that was able to overturn the match, somehow put away Yuna and give her the win. I think this is a very disappointing loss for Yuna, because how many times have she, in singles competition, she faced Mei? She always wins those matches. But this time, in tag team competition with her as facing off, was even sweeter for her. Now our next and final thing on this particular thing is the Jonkin. I wasn't sure how this is going to go, but I was surprised. Shon Chiru went twice into, of course, Jonkin because he had a bye. But the person that won earlier, it was more like, okay, no, he didn't receive the bye. It was, of course, I forgot who was it. I think Sarui who had a bye, I'm sure. But it was great. But I did not anticipate who was going to win this one. It was Mei Suruga. Somehow she got all the way, even to the final. She even beat Hagane Shino. But Hagane, he is very calm. He's not going to take anything like bad with her, knowing that they teamed up well. So they won the match. So who cares who wins, as long as the winning team gets the chocolate in some ways. So I can't wait to see what's going to happen for the following day. So I believe it's time to move on with GLEAT G Pro Wrestling version 33. Okay, we got GLEAT G Pro Wrestling version 33. It opened up with 6-man tag team action. We have Bulk Orchestra with Kazak Sakamoto, Quiet Storm, and Ryuichi Kawatami. Now they face off with a very interesting combination of different people. We got OG Shiba, Shigeru Iri, and Agato Yoshida from 2WA. I have to say it was very interesting. However, I think I liked how I hardly see any wrestlers coming from 2WA. I used to watch some of that stuff. But however, seeing this combination was great. But however, it was the Falcon Arrow by Kawatami that picked up the victory for Bulk Orchestra, once again showing their dominance as they wanted to show. Now our next match is a women's UWF match. We have Michiko Miyagi versus Maya Fukuda. Now keep in mind, Fukuda has no wrestling experience, but they use the UWF matches as her way of entering. So whenever she does this would fits in. But however, I think Fukuda actually did show a lot of fighting spirit. But however, with the experience of Michiko Miyagi, it fits in for her. She locked it in with a leg lock, forcing Fukuda to tap out. So better luck next time. Next up, we got a very interesting tag match. We got Kaz Hayashi teaming up with Shima to take on Masa Inoue and the old man Gabai Chichan. Now, if you guys don't know who Gabai Chichan is, he's this mass wrestler who plays like this old wrestler who just takes a sweet time to get in the ring. Now, you know the story goes, respect your elders. Well, they tried to do that with him, but no luck. He was taking too much of his time. Of course, there were concerns over um, Chichan using his cane as a weapon, but he uses it as an extension of him. Like, for example, trying to break free from submissions, all that stuff. But unfortunately, it did not go well. He ended up in a torture rack by Shima, so basically he lost. But Shinshiba got the last laugh when he whacked him in the nuts to Shima and flipped him off, and then of course he ran. So I thought it was a very funny moment. So I just can't believe that happened. uh, Now our next match, we have more tag team action. We have the current G Infinity champions, Borg Orchestra's Czech Shimatani and Tamura Hayato to take on Takanori and Masato Kamino. Now, as you know, if Ito or Kamino pick up a victory against these two guys, they may get an opportunity of the G Infinity titles. But however, that did not work. It was kind of like a that one move that Goldberg does to jackknife whatever. I think, I'm not sure if that was it. So he picked up that move and used it on. It was Hayato that tried it on Kamino, and that sealed the deal for them. So for as of right now, they're safe from anybody who wants to challenge them for these titles. Now, speaking of titles, I was surprised that All Japan Pro Wrestling sanctioned this to happen. We had the All Japan All Asian Tag Team titles being defended. We have the GLEAT's very own Yu Iizuka and Soma Watanabe to take on the champions Voodoo Murders, consistent of Toshizo and Minura. Now, Minoru Tanaka, as you know, last time he low blowed Yu Iizuka last time, and he wanted revenge, and this time he got it. But however, in this particular match, it was, I have to say, they put up a good effort, but it was no match for the Voodoo Murder. It was no match against the New Murders, no matter what. It was, of course, a combination of the stomp by Kashimo, but it was Minoru Suzuki that picked up the victory on Iizuka, giving them the win. Now, our main event, this one was a very interesting one. We have the members of Strong Hearts, consistent of El Lindaman, Osi Onitsuka, and T-Hawk to take on all members of 60 Seconds. Keishi Sato, Jun Tonsho, and Tetsuya Ishii. Now, keep in mind, Strong Hearts consider 60 Seconds not a threat, that they are still new, they're still young. They will take time for these guys to build up the momentum. But I have to say, they were wrong this time. Apparently, somehow 60 Seconds proved them wrong, that they are not a team they should not underestimate. They should be underestimating them, but they did not. But it was, of course, Isushi that picked up the victory by applying an elbow strike onto Onitsuka. 1, 2, 3 is over. I have to say, this is a big major victory for 60 Seconds. But however, out of the blue, here comes Kaito Ishida once again on the offensive, attacking Izushi. So I'm going to presume that Kaito wants to have a match against him, but the obvious question is, when will that happen? If it's going to happen on version 34, I don't know, but we will stay apprised to that. So I can't wait for version 34 to come out. I'm assuming it will happen later on this month, so I'll let you guys know. But right now, I believe we should move on with NWA USA. Okay, NWA USA opened up with the NWA Junior Heavyweight Championship on the line. We have Eric Jackson taking on Homicide. Now, As you know, Homicide, ever since he became junior heavyweight champion, he has been a fighting champion. But somewhere down the line, we're seeing the old dirty trick Homicide that we've seen. Something that I agree with Velvet Sky that she mentioned during commentary. So it shows that he will do anything in his power to maintain that title. We know that VSK and Kobe Corino have their sights on that title. However, in this particular match, I have to say Eric Jackson really did a pretty good job. I have to say it was fantastic work out of him, try to put Homicide to work, but however, it was not enough. But the referee did not see exactly what he saw. There was a low blow that gave up to by Homicide to Eric Jackson that allowed him to retain the title. So the obvious question is, who will be his next opponent? That's yet to be seen. Now, we do get an interview in the podium by Kyle Davis. He brings Alonzo, who we haven't seen for almost a while. Right next to him, we see Austin Idol and, of course, Sion. But we were corrected by Austin Idol once again for being the charismatic person. He called Sion the Great Sion, since he is now the current national champion. However, Alonso is a little pissed off knowing that he is not getting a shot of the national championship. Now, we haven't seen Alonso in the NWA for some time, so there were some valid points. We haven't seen him there. Why does he get a title shot? However, Austin Idol was not going to take any crap from him. Neither did Zion, but he did inform them, you haven't done anything to earn it. So he told him, if you want to prove it, face me. Beat me if you can. So basically, it's more like what AEW does with the Eliminator match. So if Alonso beats Sion next week on Power, he will get his title shot. So that's the obvious question. So we will see that happen. Now we get our match for the national title qualifier. We have Judias along with Father James Mitchell to take on Mercurio. Hopefully I pronounce it right because it's so ridiculous. But I have to say Mercurio tried everything in his power to avoid Judias since he's a big individual. But of course, out of nowhere, we see Father James Mitchell gets his scrawny little hands on trying to ensure that the match goes in favor of Judias. What it did, he chokeslammed him. 1, 2, 3, it's over. So Mercurio's out. Judias advances. Now, we do get a very interesting interview with May Valentine, who's a little pissed off with Pope and Kratos. Now, Kratos assured him, we're not here to harass. I came here to get retribution. So basically, he's saying that he was pissed for Aaron Stevens' behavior, the way he left them out, and that sort of thing. But Pope is saying, look, I get that he walks the walk. You know me, I walk the walk. So that's pretty much what happened. But they were interrupted by Pollo de Mar and Thrill Billy Silas, who's demanding a shot of the national championship. So we don't know if that will ever take place, or will Sion actually give them that opportunity. Well, we won't know until it's officially made. Now, we do get a little drill, Stanley drill. He interviews Father James Mitchell. I'm like, that it was so funny because Stanley, he thinks he can be a smart ass, but not this time. Father James Mitchell tried to be clever as possible, but I thought it was too clever. Now, our main event, we have the national title qualifier. We have Mike Bennett versus Brian Myers. Now, as you know, Brian Myers, it was sent to NWA by none other than Matt Cardona, the so-called professional wrestler, is trying to make sure that every member of the Cardona family get titles. We know that Chelsea wants the NWA Women's title. Matt Cardona wants to reclaim the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. VSK, the Junior Heavyweight title. So that kind of sets in. I don't know about Mike Knox. But right now, if Mike Knox shows up, even though he was banned from the building, we don't know if his appearance distracted Mike Bennett, but it did give Brian Myers the opportunity to pick up the win, which was a huge disappointing loss for Mike Bennett. But we do know that Bennett will want to get a shot of the NWA tag team titles soon enough. So I think that's pretty much it with the NWA stuff. So let's move on with JCW. Jersey Championship Wrestling, or as we know it, JCW, Uncensored. This took place just today. I enjoyed every match. I especially love the main event. Now, first match we have is a barbed wire match. We have Mance Warner versus Slade. Now, this particular feud date back about maybe a couple of months ago, where Slade got out of hand, tried to hurt Matthew Justice, but luckily Mance Warner showed up to give him the helping hand. This match was so intensified, so violent. But however, a masked figure shows up, knocks out Mance Warner, and then attacks Slade. Turned out to be Hoodfoot. Now, if you guys remember last time, Hoodfoot almost was removed out of a tournament that put him in the shelf, so it looks more like he's getting his revenge on Slade. So the match ended in no contest, which fans do not like. But however, this feud between Slade, Hoodfoot, and Mance Warner is out of control. But if I was JCW management or GCW management or whoever's running both shows, put all these three men in a freaking cage, please. That would be a better way to settle the score. Next match, we have this is for the DDT Extreme title in a body slam match between challenger Beastman versus Joey Janela, the current champion. Now, I don't know why this match happened. Beastman, he is a freaking huge man. I don't know how in the hell Joey Janela is going to get out of this one. But I had to say there was a great moment in the Smart where Beastman was on top of the turnbuckle. I'm assuming he was going to pancake Joey, but Joey used that against him and he body slammed him through the door, and 1, 2, 3, Joey retained the title. So very nice. Now our next match is a Bulls Rope match between one called Manders and that piece of garbage Charles Mason, the root of all evil. I really hate the guy. He thinks that runs the entire, that money is the root of all evil. So basically, you know, the bull rope can be used as a weapon, and that's what he was normally doing the entire time. Many of us probably would have assumed that one called Manders was going to win because was his specialty, but somehow Manders uses that against him, and he won by choking out Manders, and the ref had no other choice but to call it. So that's how Charles Mason won. But sooner or later, someone's going to burn him alive. Now, our next match, this is for the GCW Extreme Championship. This is for between Alex Price, who is the challenger, and the champion, Ratty Daddy Cole Roderick. Now, this is the first time in a while we see Cole Roderick put his title on the line in a singles competition. Normally, he puts these titles will be in a scramble match. Even Alex Price was in it, but he never got to win it. Now he gets an opportunity. I thought it was a pretty good match, using every ounce of toys they can find, like tables, ladders, doors, but it was a pile of stairs that put Alex Price away for Cole Roderick to retain the title. Now, our next match, we have Janai Kai, the kick demon, taking on Sawyer Wreck. This match was pretty interesting. Now, Sawyer Wreck is a bit more taller than Janai Kai. Now, you probably would have assumed this would be finished right away with, it could have gone either way in my opinion, but it was the power of Sawyer Wreck who chokeslammed Janai Kai on a pile of chairs. Now, she may have hurt her head, but there was the 10 count. Sawyer, instead of pinning her, decided, you know what, I'm just going to let her get up, see if she could. And apparently, she won by count out, so it was kind of interesting how that ended. So, we'll see what happens. Now, our next match, we have Yoya versus Mike Bailey. The match was awesome. I enjoyed it. But out of nowhere, these freaking ninjas show up and start attacking both Yoya and Bailey outside. Now, it's still unclear who in the hell sent these guys. So, but, however, the match continued on, no matter what, wiping out the ninjas around the same time. I have to say, they were multitasking this entire match, and I thought it was great. But it was the Flamingo Driver by Mike Bailey that sealed the deal for Yoya. But however, Mike Bailey left Yoya in the middle of the ring. the ninjas showed up, but one particular ninja decided to turn his back, while Yo-Yo wiped out the entire ninja group. But it turns out the person who sent them is none other than freaking Charles Mason. He went through hell with the bull rope, and he had enough energy just to go after Yo-Yo. Now, some of you may ask, what did Yo-Yo do to get himself in this mess? Simple. Yo-Yo was attacked by Charles Mason on 2 different occasions. You know, Charles Mason will not let that go. He wants to kill Yo-Yo for his insolence. Kill him by any means necessary. But we know Yo-Yo. He's not going to let Charles Mason take that crap. So he'll do whatever it takes to get him. So one way or the other, Yo-Yo will get his payback. Like he always did. He did that last time. Now, our next match, we have one hell of a tag team match. We have, of course, a Lucha Libre style match. We have Wasted Youth, Dylan McKay, and Marcus Mathers taking on Los Macizos, Cicoples, and his cousin Miedo Extremo. I have to say, what a great match. I loved it. This is why I love watching tag team wrestling, because you see some intensity where one partner and the other are coordinated, and sometimes they bounce back in certain aspects to win. And I thought it was pretty good. But however, it was Los Macizos that were able to pick up a good victory on the Wasted Youth. And of course, Los Macizos showed a lot of respect for USCU for giving them a great match. I would love to see a part 2 if it's possible. Now, our main event, this is the one I've been dying for. We have Masha Slamovich versus Jungle Kyona. Yes, I love Jungle Kyona. She's amazing. Now, some of you may question, it's been 2 full years since we've seen her wrestle, but I feel she is still in good shape. She can still wrestle. I was amazed by this match between Jungle Kyona and Masha Slamovich. I was like pretty much impressed with everything. Now, if you guys know this, I believe this was a dream match for Masha Slamovich, because if you guys know this, Masha spent some time in Japan with the promotion Marvelous. Now, Marvelous does have a connection with Stardom, and I don't know if Jungle Kyona or Masha has ever come across each other. But however, the match, I cannot take away anything. A lot of powerhouses, submissions, all of that. But it was the White Knight by Masha Slamovich to seal the deal. 1, 2, 3, she wins. But however, Jungle Kyona gets a standing ovation from the fans who adore her. They love her for who she is. You know, she is could be one of the best Yoshi wrestlers we've seen in a long time. And I have to say, she is doing an amazing job now that she's in the state. However, the obvious question is, will we ever see her back with JCW? It just turns out one of the commentators has announced that she will be back with JCW in Atlantic City on October 9th. We don't know who the opponent is, but I will keep apprised, because this is something I know many JCW fans have. If you haven't seen this match, if you want to see Jungle Kyona in this particular event, go on YouTube. Go to the GCW YouTube channel, and you'll see it right there. So you probably will enjoy it. So I think we're pretty much done with JCW. I believe it's time for our final review. New Japan Strong, Fighting Spirit Unleashed. This is day 1. Okay, New Japan Strong, Fighting Spirit Unleashed. I have to say, day 1, I love the main event. Awesome match. So let's talk about the entire event. We have opening match. We have Misterioso versus Máscara Dorada. Lucha Libre style match. I love it. I don't get bored from it. But I have to say, it was great to see this type of match, because if you've seen Misterioso, he has a combination of both agility and strength. But you're facing a guy who has experience only in agility and high flying. That's always been one of the most heavily weapon that he could use. However, this could have gone either way in this particular match. I'm a fan of Máscara Dorada, if you guys remember, since he was in WWE, but seeing him there was great. So I have to say, it was a great moment, especially when they went through the tope suicida, almost hit the timekeeper table. I'm not sure, that was crazy, but it was of course the fireman's carry by Mascara Dorada that sealed the deal for him to win the match. Now, our next match, we have two wrestlers who have a bit of the experience of the technical side. Kevin Blackwood taking on Robbie Eagles. I have to say, now some of you can say, but isn't Robbie Eagles a high flyer? Yes, he is, but he does have a bit of the technical aspect in his arsenal. Now, we've been seeing a lot of high flyer wrestlers throw in a bit of the technical side, which is a good thing to have. We already seen that with Matt Seidel, various others, including Will Ospreay. Well, I think Ospreay has that too. But however, I think it's pretty good that Robbie actually can pull it off. But it was the Ron Miller special that sealed the deal for him on Blackwood. So Blackwood had no other choice but to tap out. So it was great. Now, our main event. This is for the New Japan Strong Openweight Tag Team titles. Now, Aussie Open became the first ever champions. Now, Jarrell Nelson, as you know, he put his name and put him and his tag team partner's name. Now, many of us could agree that Jarrell Nelson and Royce Isaacs were the reason the tag team, these titles existed in the first place. Because of them, the epitomize of it. But however, they have to face one of the best tag teams right now in the world, basically Aussie Open. So that kind of tells us a different story. I think I enjoyed there's more, I've been seeing a lot of counters, a lot of pickups. That shows a great tag team coordination from both sides. But however, it was Aussie Open that finished off with Royce Isaacs with the Coriolis, and boom, they retained the titles. However, who will be the next challengers? Well, that's yet to be seen until we see it again. So we got to remember, we have the Stray Dog Army, we have Bullet Club, we got many others, but that is yet to be seen. Hopefully we'll see more of them down the line. So I believe that is it right now with the New Japan Strong. I believe it's time to end it with some news updates. Okay, so here are some news updates. Now, some of you may have been hearing about what's been going on with the Young Bucks. Reports were coming in from various sources, various news outlets about they sent out feelers to WWE talent. Now, some of you may question, isn't that illegal? Technically, no. If you sent feelers to the WWE officials, like managers, talent relations, those guys. Now, basically, they're not talking to any of the people higher ups of WWE. They're talking to talent. Now, the only reason this is happening is I'm not sure if the Young Bucks are doing this in case Tony Khan decides he's going to keep CM Punk around. That's the thing. Now, keep in mind, there's been a lot of talk about this since that altercation that took place after All Out in the media scrum where Punk dissed the Bucks and Kenny Omega. Now, you may know that this is that the Bucks have friends in WWE. We know they're friends with Kevin Owens and Cody. However, we just don't know yet exactly if this. Now, people are saying, is this 100% true? Basically, sources are saying the same thing. Is this 100% true or not? We don't know. But we do know that their contracts do expire by 2024. That is very clear. But if that's the case, if the Bucks are planning to leave once their contract expires, possibly. We even heard the same thing with MJF, that he could be leaving around that very same time. So we don't know yet, but we will keep apprised if there's any more information. Now, I did mention recently that GCW will be heading to Japan for 3 days event, 2 events by the end of September and 1 event by the start of October. It was announced that Strong Hearts, consistent with Shima, El Lindaman, and T-Hawk, will be making their debut in GCW in all 3 shows. I'm excited, and I really love to see that. So that's going to be exciting news. Now, if you guys remember Spanish wrestling promotion, I'm not talking Mexico, I'm talking about the promotion from Spain, RCW. They announced that Miyu Yamashita will be making her return to the promotion on the 22nd of October. However, this particular date is the commencement of the World Cup tournament. They just reassured to everyone that Miyu Yamashita will not be participating in the tournament. I am aware that Maya Yuhiki will be in that tournament, so I'm feeling like maybe they already got the Japanese wrestler that will be representing in the World Cup. But they said they will put her in a special match on that particular day, so I'm kind of excited to see. No news yet about who will be her opponent, but once we get closer and closer to that particular day, we will find out soon enough. So I think that's pretty much it. So I think it's time to call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. I like to apologize. Things do not go according to plan for me. But for the next episode, I'm going to be just winging it once again. We do have more ChocoPro. As by the time this video will be editing, as we speak, we will have the latest Stardom show. This is where we have, of course, 2 championship matches taking place. We got the Artist Belts and the Stardom. I may not be able to see those events within the next couple of days. If that's the case, we'll find out. Don't know about the New Japan stuff. It will be out. I yet to see the latest Circle 6 events, the GCW events. I will catch up to those as soon as possible. Been delayed because I've been covering more on the New Japan G1, the Pro Wrestling Noah, N1 Victory, and the 5-Star Grand Prix. That kind of got me off taking, so I've been trying to catch up with everything else as much as possible. But I will not make any more excuses from here on out. So I will do my best, but for now, I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day. Bang.